All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to this week's Franchise Partner Spotlight. Appreciate everyone taking the time to join us. I know I've met everyone on this call. For anyone that may be listening in after the fact, my name is Wes Barefoot. I'm the Director of Franchise Development for ShelfGenie. If this is the first of these webinars you're attending or listening to, this is something we try to do once a week, and we stay pretty consistent with that. And the purpose of these calls is to give anyone that's interested in learning more about ShelfGenie and our franchise opportunities the chance to hear from some of our different franchise partners. Every now and then we'll have someone from the home office or the executive team come on as well. And it's really just an opportunity for you to, hear a little bit from people within our organization, learn from their experience, pick their brain a little bit, and get some of your questions answered. So typically the format, I'll go through and kind of mute everyone on the call here so we can try to minimize the background noise, but we will be opening it up periodically throughout the call today for any questions that you may have. There is also a chat box, so if it's easier, feel free to send questions through the chat box as well. With that being said, we will go ahead and get started. This week, I am honored to have a good friend of mine and now fellow franchise partner, Mike Gardner, joining us today. So Mike and his wife, Rebecca, are some of our newer franchise partners. They hail from Salt Lake City, Utah, and purchased their franchise in late 2018, opened for business in February. Is that right, Mike? Yep,
exactly.
So, and now Mike's on camera, and glad to see he's wearing a shirt. Appreciate you taking some time.
I'm glad it only goes from the waist up, though.
Yeah, you and me both.
Right.
So, hey, look, appreciate you taking some time to join us today, man. This will be fun, and I know everyone that's called in or will listen after the fact is going to benefit a lot from hearing some of your thoughts and your experience. So, with that being said, I'll turn it over to you and maybe just start off by giving a little bit of an introduction to yourself, maybe share a little bit of your background, what you and Rebecca were doing prior to ShelfGenie, how you got involved, and we'll take it from there.
Hey, great. Yeah, I appreciate that, Wes. Thank you very much. So, yeah, hello, everybody. Pleased to be here. I'm honored to be here. Like Wes mentioned, we're fairly new, very new, actually, I guess, in the ShelfGenie system. So, so I can give you some fresh perspective, in launch and kind of your early development and that kind of stuff. And I can tell you, we're really excited. We feel like we're in the right place. But just a real quick background. So I've been in outside sales for, dating myself. So probably for a good 35 years or so.
So since you were like 5?
I was like 5 years old when I started.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. I was trying to clip grass of the neighbor's grass with those hand trimmers.
Right. Yeah. Child prodigy.
I honestly did wander around the neighborhoods with those and a rake during the leaf fall season. But anyway, so I guess I've always been an entrepreneur in a funny way. I've been in outside sales. I love working with people. I like outside sales because it's really it lives in a gray world. It's all about visiting with people, creating relationships, and finding a passion that you really enjoy. I think that's kind of the main. One of the main things. And so anyway, I've worked for, a number of companies. I worked for an electric utility in sales. I was selling the electric side of things versus gas for about 17 years. So that was a long stint, but I learned a lot during that. After that, I went into the mortgage industry and was working with mortgage loan officers and mortgage financing and mortgage banks and all that. Learned a lot there. In about 2005 or 2007, I went into the franchise industry actually, and I started selling franchise systems for a company called Realogy. Realogy is actually the largest real estate company in the world. A lot of people don't know that name, but Realogy owns Century 21, Coldwell Banker, ERA, Better Homes and Gardens, Sotheby's, and they actually recently, after I left, they have purchased Zip Real Estate. So they're actually the largest real estate company in the world. But I was selling the franchise systems for, and I didn't know before I joined Realogy, I didn't have any idea what franchising was. But Century 21, Coldwell Banker, ERA, Remax, Sotheby's, Better Homes and Gardens, Keller Williams, Exit Realty. Those are all franchise brands. I had no idea till I started working with them. So I was selling franchise brands for 5 different brands for that company. Did really well. I enjoyed it a lot. And then ultimately after that, I got recruited. Well, I was still with them, but I got recruited away by a company called 101 Mobility, which I'm still with, actually. I still do franchise development, franchise sales for a company called 101 Mobility, which does access and mobility for people that need things like stair lifts and platform lifts and wheelchair ramps, patient lifts. It's all about the aging and disabled, special needs people, those kind of things. So anyway, I think I have a lot of franchise experience, and I joined. I actually worked with Wes during that stint with 101 Mobility. He can maybe give you a little more info there for a couple of years. But I like Wes said, I joined ShelfGenie in late 2018, just late last year. We actually officially opened this February, though. And so I'll kind of stop there, Wes, and let you give me some direction.
No, that's some good background. And so, Mike and I have known each other for a few years now, and 101 Mobility was the company that I worked at prior to ShelfGenie, and how I kind of cut my teeth in franchising. So, I'd like to tell you that I've taught Mike everything he knows, but I'm not gonna lie to you. So, Mike's been a great resource to me over the years, taught me a lot, become a good friend, and now he's a peer with us here at ShelfGenie. So, it's been awesome, kind of seeing a personal relationship like that materialize into, he and his wife Rebecca joining ShelfGenie as well, and it's been a lot of fun. So, maybe talk a little bit before we dive into anything else. Talk a little bit about Rebecca as well, because she's very active in the business with you. Couldn't join us today, but what did Rebecca do prior to this, and how do you guys kind of have the roles and responsibilities in the business divided up between the two of you?
Yeah, so great stuff. So because I do currently have a day job, I'm still doing franchise development with 101 Mobility, like I mentioned, but we kind of got to the point, I guess, early last year, where my wife Rebecca and I started kind of just looking at the future, kind of trying to figure out, where's everything headed, what's the big picture here, and I'm doing my thing, and Rebecca had been a marketing manager actually for an architectural company for a number of years. She did really good, and then she left that after a number of years, and she kind of wanted to get out of the corporate world. She thought, I want to get out of the regimented corporate world, and having to respond to the needs of many people, and sometimes those needs conflict and everything. So she said, I would love to work for myself. And I said, I agree. That'd be fantastic. So she started a home clean and catering, kind of a home services business, not just cleaning, but she really went all in. She was doing cooking for clients, and errands, and itineraries, and and housekeeping, and the whole thing. And she started a business like that, which was very successful. She did really, really wonderful with that. She had some great clients, and the kind of clients she would get in that kind of business were really A-level clients, doctors and attorneys and business owners. And, so it was not like an hour to try to clean your house. She had a business that was like, people wanted her and her services and her employees for a full day to do a lot of different things. And for, everything from meals to errands to house cleaning to itinerary help and scheduling help. And so she was very successful, did a great job. And so that really kind of got us into business ownership, I guess. She, like I say, she did a wonderful job, created a significant business. But she was still kind of, not in, I guess, her happiest place. It was a good business, but she semi-retired a few years ago, and kind of, sold that off to some other partners that she had, she was involved with, and went into a semi-retirement type situation. And I'm doing my job, and then we come across, well, like I said, I've been working with Wes, so there's some crossover there. But Wes was with ShelfGenie, and I'm working for a company. I'm an employee, so I'm working for a company, and she's semi-retired, but we're still thinking, where's all this headed? And we're going to get to a point where, we're going to need to rely on something better than what we've got. And I was really impressed with the ShelfGenie concept, the ShelfGenie products, the ShelfGenie potential. So I started talking a little deeper with Wes, and we started digging into what would be involved if you owned a ShelfGenie franchise. And we really liked the product, and we thought the concept was just phenomenal, and so we just moved forward, I guess. And so I'll get into more of that as we kind of get more structure here. But are we headed in the right direction, Wes?
Yeah, man, for sure. Good stuff, and good background. It's helpful for everyone listening in to get a sense of where you guys are coming from and how you got to the point where you are now, owning a ShelfGenie franchise. So no, that's all good stuff, and thank you for sharing that with us. So maybe talk a little bit about how you and Rebecca have your roles divided in the business, because like you said, you do have a full-time job and all of the responsibilities that come with that. And we've got some husband and wife teams listening in right now, and we really tried not to position ShelfGenie as what you might call a semi-absentee owner model, where it's really not the type of thing that we would recommend you try to start and ramp up while working a full-time job. But if there's a second person in the mix, whether that's a spouse or a business partner, that provides a lot more flexibility, where you can kind of divide and conquer, and it works a lot better that way. Very similar to what my wife Kelly and I have done in our ShelfGenie franchise as well. So maybe talk a little bit about how you guys have, at least up to this point, because you're only a few months in, but how have you guys kind of divided your roles and responsibilities so far?
Yeah. So, and that's great, and that's exactly right. This is not a full semi-absentee at this point. It absolutely can be, and that's what we're excited. That's one of the things that excited us about this. It absolutely can be. There's some groundwork to do in the initial stages, and so I learned about ShelfGenie. I started talking to Wes more and more about ShelfGenie, and I'm in the kind of position where I'm working a full-time job, but I'm also wondering where am I headed with everything, and I'm still really at the mercy of the company I work for everything, really. So there can be some benefit there. There's a lot of detriment there. Working for a company, you just really have no stability. You have no control of your future. And so I knew I wanted some control of my future. And I talked to Rebecca about business ownership, and she was very very interested and very excited about it too. So when we started looking into franchising as far as ShelfGenie, we were I think we were just really excited about the product, the concept, the growth opportunity, the scalability, the business model in general, as far as, very small HR footprint, as far as employees, especially in regard to the kind of revenue potential that there is with this, with this business and this company. So, we delved into it, I guess, and I thought, well, this is something that, I could play a smaller role in, while my wife, Rebecca, could play a larger role in, until we get to a point where I don't need to rely on an employer, and we can both, really, really focus on a larger role as far as our own business, our own growth, our own opportunity, not having to worry about answering to, the man, or however you want to put it, and really being more in control of our destiny, and I think, because I do the same thing Wes does for a different company, but I'm always kind of envious of the people that buy a franchise from the company I work for, because there they are, a business owner, and I'm still an employee of a company, and I always think, wow, and I've helped them get there, but I'm not there as before ShelfGenie anyway. And I've just always thought, what a fantastic thing, because as an employee, you have some certain, I guess, securities or safety measures put in place, but you're really not in control of anything at any given time. We can be gone, and those are kind of some of the key things I was focusing on, and my wife, Rebecca, definitely agrees. So we really liked the thought of business ownership, flexibility, and I'll tell you, ShelfGenie is the kind of concept that you're not sitting in a retail store waiting for people to come in, that need a haircut or need a massage or want to do a fitness program, or those kind of things are probably all in good if you want to own a whole bunch of them and have a lot of money to invest. But as far as our business, with ShelfGenie, we're really responsible and involved, I guess, in the kind of activity that's going to be created with our business. We get a lot of flexibility in what we do, how we do it, how much of it we do, and those kind of things, because it's a lot about community exposure, relationship development, that kind of stuff, which are things that we feel we're both good at. And so, I think, well, I know I absolutely can tell you with absolute absoluteness that we're in the right spot right now.
Yeah, well, and you guys are doing very well, and we can probably get into some of that and some of the success that you're seeing early on, here in a minute or two. But you bring up some really good points, and so again, thanks for sharing all of that. And to kind of circle back to one of the things that Mike mentioned earlier, as I said, we really don't position ShelfGenie as a semi-absentee type business when you're starting out, but Mike's exactly right. It's the type of business that has the ability to evolve into more of a semi-absentee role for the owner over time. And one of the biggest focuses for any franchise owner, and what we're really trying to coach new franchise owners on as they're coming in, is that a lot of your focus should be on obviously learning the business as you're getting started and getting ramped up, and that's another part of why it is ideal to have at least someone that's focused on it in more of a full-time capacity. But big part of that focus is developing a team and developing, a culture within that team, so that you can empower that team, your designers and your installers, to really go out and handle a lot of the day-to-day aspects of the business. And if you do a good job of that as an owner, it puts you in a position to, step out a little bit from the day-to-day to kind of keep your eye on the bigger picture and focus on the things that, should, especially over time, allow the business to continue and grow. And with that comes a little bit more flexibility. As Mike mentioned, we don't have, brick and mortar or retail locations that, you're kind of tied to. So while there's always going to be the need and responsibilities for the owner, the better of a team you have in place, the more flexible, this business becomes. And you get to kind of pick and choose when you're scheduling things that you need to be involved in. And, we've got some great technology, which, we'll probably get into a little bit as well, that makes it easy for our franchise owners to really stay plugged into the business and stay on top of what's happening wherever they may be at the time.
Right.
So those are really good points. So yeah, I think it's good having, someone like yourself, Mike, that is a little bit newer, because we've had a lot of different franchise owners come on and do these calls, some of them more tenured. So it's been a little bit longer since they've gone through the onboarding and some of the training. So, what is life kind of like on the franchisee side? You've got a lot of experience in franchising, all on the franchisor side up until ShelfGenie. So, what have these first 6 months or so kind of looked like, in terms of transitioning into, your role and going through the initial training and onboarding? Maybe give people a sense of what that's kind of looked like for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Great training. We really enjoyed our training. There was a lot of hands-on development, and exposure. Of course, like anything, your time actually doing it is the most important. Yeah. And as far as the support for that, we worked with a gal named Serena, one of the franchise partner support persons that ShelfGenie has. Phenomenal, just phenomenal. So we, anything we asked, any time of day, any day of the week, that we had responses immediately. So we've just loved the heck out of working with Serena, and as far as the franchise development and the support, answers to questions that we have no idea about, sometimes at crucial times and critical times when you're in front of somebody, and it might be a Saturday and you're like, you're brand new and you're not sure what the answer to that question is. And she, again, I just can't give enough commendations or whatever to Serena. So you'll learn more about that kind of stuff from Wes as far as your support system and whatnot. But the way we have it structured, I'm still doing my day job, but but the plan is, and definitely the full intention is, that I won't be with as an employee anymore with the company soon. We'll just be totally focusing on our new business. But as far as ShelfGenie, I'm taking care of the marketing. I do a lot of the other operational activities as I can. My wife Rebecca is full time. Poor her, she came out of retirement, but she's really excited. She's having a fantastic time. She's really our main. Pardon?
I said, she's like, what did you get me into?
Yeah. What the heck? Everything was so good. But no, she loves what she's doing. She's a phenomenal designer. She loves working with people and helping them, move their kitchens and their cabinets and their pantries and their vanities and closets and anything that you want to be able to pull something out of instead of go digging into, which is a lot of stuff. Vanities, china cabinets and hutches, and built-ins in walls. There's so many things. She loves working with people and helping them, get rid of frustration and get more access and use out of what they got. And we get just incredible, I'll tell you, honestly, incredible, reviews back from our clients that we've done jobs for. They tell us best investment they've ever made in their home. Why didn't they do this earlier? She sent me some review highlights today. I was actually on a plane earlier today. She sent me some review highlights of some of the reviews that came in from some of our latest people that we did. We got some installs completed for. But and so I guess that's kind of one of the things. My wife Rebecca is doing a lot of our installs, but she doesn't have to, but she wants to. We can, and we do have two other designers that go out and meet with people. But I'll tell you at this point, just quite honestly, within our business system, we have some business loans and some things out. We're trying to get as much, as high as I guess a net revenue situation as we can. She's done, and she loves it. So she's done the majority of what's called our design appointments. And I'm sure you've talked to Wes about that, and you'll probably talk more. And she loves it. She meets with people. It's something they're excited about. It's something they want. They contact us. We're not out knocking on any doors or anything like that. People are calling us. They see our ads. We do obviously marketing and advertising and that kind of stuff. But we do home shows. That's very important. Home shows and home expos and those kind of things. You want to be in all those things that you can. And again, you're gonna get a lot of guidance and direction from Wes on those kind of things. But people come in, even a home show, for example. We have a kitchen cabinet display, and Wes has probably already talked to you about this. If not, he will. We have a kitchen cabinet display. It has almost, a high. I'm not sure if all of the things that we offer a lot of different products and solutions for people, but it has a lot of them involved. People love coming in. People walk by your display. They stop, guys and gals both, husbands and wives. That's what's funny. And we'll have guys, husbands come in and say, I would love this. This would be my dream kitchen. I mean, can you imagine a guy saying that? We hear that all the time. Let alone, the women that come in, this would be my dream kitchen, and my dream pantry. And oh my gosh, I've never seen something like that under a sink before, under a cooktop, or, so we're just really excited. But Rebecca is the one that goes out to the homes and talks to the people about, okay, what can we do to your, for you and your situation? She loves it. And I would say, we do a lot, of a varied size of deals, but probably the average deal we're doing is probably around $4,500. If that means anything at this point in the conversation. We've done deals as low as probably $1,200 to I think at this point around $15,000. So we're really excited about what we're doing. People are happy. People are excited. We get feedback after the fact that they can't believe they waited this long to get what we're doing. So anyway, she's kind of driving the business as far as the designer side of things. We do have 2 other designers who are going out on appointments. But at this point, we're trying to keep our net margins as high as possible. And she loves what she's doing. So she's doing that. I guess a majority of that. I'm taking care of a lot of the marketing activities and some of the other operational activities that I can, time as I have available anyway.
Which is
Does that help, Wes?
Yeah, that's super helpful. And some of the marketing stuff that you're helping out with is really all stuff you can do from wherever you are, because you travel a fair amount to work and stuff. So, that's all mostly kind of laptop stuff. And that's where, you can take that piece off of Rebecca's plate so she can really focus in on the design side. And I think it's a smart approach that you're taking where, you do have some other designers and they're training and they're getting better and better, but, she's really, really, dove in and is learning and becoming an expert as a designer. And, number one, it's great so that you guys can have some stronger margins early on, because anything she sells, you can either, pay yourself the commission that you would pay a designer, or the commission that you would pay a designer drops to your bottom line. Either way, it's more money staying with you. Kelly and I took a very similar approach when we started. I mean, Kelly ran the majority of our design appointments for the first couple of months while training some other designers, but it definitely helped us get some cash flow and some income, in those critical first few months while we were trying to ramp up. So I think that's a good approach. And then long term, because like you've said, the goal is to create a little more flexibility and to have a business that you can scale. So in order to do that, you have to have a good team that you can delegate to and empower. So her really becoming an expert as a designer is only going to put her in a better position to recruit, train, and mentor designers going forward. Which is really the key to scaling, any sort of business, is being able to develop a great team. So no, I think it's a great approach. And I've been, very, very proud of, kind of from afar watching what Rebecca's been able to do, because man, I mean, you guys hit the ground running. And maybe that's a good segue into talking a little bit about, what have those first couple of months looked like for you? Because, I think most people that are considering getting into business for themselves, that's a big concern for them is, what does that ramp up look like? Hey, if I can get past the first, 6 months, then I feel pretty good about it. But what do those first 3 to 6 months look like? So maybe share a little bit with everyone on the call what that's looked like for you guys.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so you may have to help me with a reminder here on part of the question. But so Wes is exactly right. One of the additional things, in addition to just loving the concept, the business, and helping people take frustration. Really take frustration out of their homes, dealing with cabinets and pantries and closets and vanities and that kind of stuff, and bringing in, the reviews we get are just, we love them. People are so happy.
It makes it fun.
Yeah. I mean, it makes it fun, and people tell us all the time, best investment I've ever made in my home. People, they do new driveways and covers over their porches and patios and decks and hardwood floors and different window coverings. But when they do this, you're using your kitchen cabinets and your pantries and closets and that kind of stuff every day, multiple times a day. And when that becomes ease of use with a high quality product, people are just ecstatic. So anyway, we're really excited. But yeah, so part of I guess the structure to this is, like I said, Rebecca's very involved. I'm as involved as I can be. I try to kind of do some of the behind the scenes, under the scenes things. But that's one of the key things that really attracted us to the ShelfGenie model is we're not in a storefront location. You're not operating from 8 to 5 or 9 to 6 or whatever it be. You got to be there behind the counter. We work basically remotely. We have no location. We have a very small HR footprint as far as employees. We have zero. Well, we have very small. We have 0 employees. And you might get to the point. In fact, we feel like we're going to get to the point where we will have maybe 1 or 2 employees. Yeah. Still extremely small, but really, even as we pull out of our business more, once we get to the point where our business loans are paid off, and our business plan is kind of, we took out some business loans to get involved and have some I guess working capital and that kind of stuff. But our thought is a couple of years max, us in the frontline positions, and we're enjoying what we're doing. We're loving what we're doing. We're learning our business from the inside out, which I think is really important also.
Yep.
But that's not what you want to do long term. You want to buy a business so ultimately you can be away and your business is still operating, right? That's our thought. I mean, that's
you want a business that'll work for you, not you being enslaved to your business.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is not where you've got employees and footprint and the location and all that stuff. In our mind, what an ultimate business model. So, so the additional designers that go out and meet with people to help them with their design needs for their kitchens and everything, those are contract. Those they're 1099 type people. They're doing something else, or they're not doing something else, but they're a great fit for this, but they're not an employee. So you're not worrying about FICA and workman's comp and
right.
hours per day and all that kind of stuff. They know up front they're going to get the appointments as needed and as come by, and it might get busier. And if they don't like that, that's okay. They can do as much or as little as they want. We can have as many or as few 1099 designers as we want. That was cool. Same thing on the installer side. I'm not out with a screwdriver and a drill and all that kind of stuff. I would make a mess of this stuff.
Yeah.
Installing
installing
we contract with 1099 finished carpenters, handymen, people that really, this is what they do, this is what they enjoy, this is what they love, but they're not employees. We have 2 right now, and they both do handyman type activities or finished carpentry type activities on the side.
Yep.
But really, we're primarily the business. They don't have to worry about where they're trying to find business. They love us for that. Where they're trying to find the next job, the next client. All they do is respond to, here's the next major order, here's the next install order, that kind of stuff. So really, as far as infrastructure, no location. extremely low overheads. We work from home, no employees with us at this point. We plan on having at least one employee that really kind of helps with a lot of marketing activities and stuff that we just feel that we shouldn't be doing. Our time would be better spent either not doing anything or doing something else, and somebody else can do it. And so, probably next year we'll go ahead and hire like a marketing assistant employee. But at this point, that's our infrastructure. It's no location. It's just us, and our employees are 1099 people that, we really don't have to, worry about employee benefits or those kind of things.
The other thing to add to that is there's no inventory component either, because everything we do is totally custom for each client. So when you have a client that you've done a design for and they say, yep, this looks good, let's move forward, only then do you turn around and order those materials from our plant. And you're usually securing a deposit from the client prior to even doing that. So, that keeps your overhead lower, helps all of this cash flow a little bit quicker. So, I think that probably resonates well. And I appreciate you kind of explaining all of that, because it's a lower initial investment, not nearly as much overhead as you'd expect to have in many businesses. So that all helps with the ramp up. It should put you in a position to ramp up even quicker. So let's talk specifically here, and then I'm going to open it up to some questions. But because you guys hit the ground running. I mean, you came to training in January, and I remember you called me, sometime before training, and you were like, hey man, we need to really expedite getting our home show display together, because I've already signed up for 4 shows, and like one of them literally starts the week after we get done with training. So, I mean, you guys had no fear, or if you did, you pushed it to the side and you said, we're jumping all in, because I remember, you came right out of training, went into some home shows, and you guys have kind of just been shooting up like a rocket ship ever since. So maybe tell everyone a little bit about, what you did after training, and, if you're comfortable with it, even share, at least some kind of ballpark figures of what type of revenue you've been able to generate in your first couple of months, if you're comfortable with that.
Oh, absolutely. I have no problem with that. So, so training was fantastic. 8 days, Atlanta, probably 2/3 of it was business development, kind of the backroom office side of things. That's for the owner. The last 3 days was installation training. I'm not out installing, this equipment. You can, if you want, if that's your thing and you like to do that, absolutely. There's another additional savings for you if you want. But if you're really doing that kind of stuff, you can't grow your business. You can't scale your business. So it's all in what you want to do. If you want to have a great business that you're totally in the middle of, this is a great opportunity. If you ever want a business that you can scale, that you're not the guy out or the gal out or whatever it is actually doing all the groundwork and the designs and the installation, and you're going to have, you're going to rely on 1099 contractors and designers and that kind of stuff. You're in the right place. So we love that. But we did go through all aspects of it as far as the training, because you really should know your business from the inside out. And we've all heard the old adages or whatever. Work on your business, not in it. True. But I think to really work on your business,
everyone that works with me gets sick of hearing me say that. But
okay, good. But the thing about that is, to work on your business, you need to work in it first.
That's a good
point.
Or
you have no idea. You have no idea what you're doing. That's kind of our thought anyway. So we're learning it from the inside out. Other than installation, I'm not an installer. My wife Rebecca's not an installer, but we're very involved. But like I said, we're going to pull out more and more. We just, we're just driving our net margins as high as possible right now. So anyway, training was fantastic. Let's see. Wes asked me, to talk a little bit.
You did a home show right after training.
Oh yeah, about that. So when we were in late 2018, when we were really getting all of our entity registration set up and our business licensing, and you got to do some groundwork for those kind of things. Not a big deal at all. But we were getting all that kind of stuff, set up. We started thinking, well, it'll probably be important. And Wes gave us a heads up. Actually, you want to find home shows and and expos, and they're going to start coming up this spring that are going to be in your area. So we started thinking, well, are we going to be ready? Well, that's what we started wondering. Are we going to be ready for these things? And we just decided, you know what, we better just plan on being in them. And so we started looking into the home shows and whatnot. They kind of started in January. We did miss a couple in January, but we were going to training in early February. So we thought, or late January, actually, going to training in late January. So we thought that these home shows that are starting in February, we better start registering for. So like Wes said, he said 6. I think we actually had more than that. We probably registered for 6 initially, but we started registering for every home show we could. And we were a little scared there because we really didn't know what we were doing, how we were going to do it.
You're paying for them up front, right? You paid for these shows you registered for up front. Yeah.
Yeah, we were paying for them up front, and $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 for a home show. And we were a little worried, but we thought, well, we just better be in front of people. Well, I'll tell you, we got done with training, and our very first home show was like February 15th, I think, in the middle of February, basically a week after our training. And between our business setup and all that kind of stuff and that home show, we had to make sure we had a kitchen display. It's very, very important, and Wes is going to give you a lot of help and a lot of direction on this. But people need to come to your home show or these home shows and see kitchen cabinets with glide out systems, pantries with glide out systems, and ShelfGenie has a fantastic template, or several templates, I guess, for you to help you out with that kind of stuff. So we got that stuff ordered. Had no idea what we were doing, but we had, in the end, we had everything taken care of. We had our home show cabinets and all of our glide outs. So when people ask us, do you have these? Yes, we do. We have everything you can imagine in our home show kitchen display. Basically, we own cabinets and all the countertops and cooktops and a sink, and Wes can give you guys pictures of all these kind of things. But we do have all the products that that we're selling and building, custom design, and all that stuff, so people can actually touch them, feel them, play with them, pull them out, those kind of things. So I think everybody. Oh, excuse me here. Depending on all of our own skill sets, we're all good in different things. But we're about a little over 4 months into this now, I guess. And I don't know, is it good or bad, but we feel pretty good. We're about 250,000 on gross revenue into this, and my wife runs our books in addition to doing our designing and that kind of stuff. And she tells me, because she's heavily involved, so this can vary, but because she's heavily involved in our designer aspect, we're somewhere between 30 to 35% net margins. So our goal is to get our business loans taken care of just right away, and at this rate, we just feel like we're in great shape, and then get to the point where ultimately we pull out more. We'll have lower net margins as we pull out more, but the revenues continue to grow, because you cannot scale a business if you're the ones doing it. There's Bill Gates did not grow Microsoft by himself. Steve Jobs and Wojcicki, or whatever his name was, did not grow Apple by themselves. Any business that Michael Dell did not grow Dell by himself. Any business that grows cannot be grown by the owner trying to do everything, because you can't. You can't scale and can't grow that way. So your net margins will go down, but your overall growth will increase. So you'll grow.
It's kind of the old adage: would you rather have a bigger percentage of something that stays small, or a slightly smaller percentage of something that can get bigger and bigger over time?
Absolutely.
That's a valid point. And my takeaway from that, I don't know about everyone else, was that you're the next Steve Jobs. Did I understand that correctly, or was that not the point?
Well, that's where I was headed with that.
No, but that's, and you guys have gotten off to a great start, and thanks for, sharing. some specifics on that. And of course, nothing's guaranteed in terms of, how quickly you ramp up. But what I will give you guys a lot of credit for is, you jumped right in, and you didn't say, because look, you come to training in Atlanta, it's 8 days and it's a good training, right? But like anything, you can't learn it all in 8 days. You're going to retain probably 40% of what you get in that 8 days, because you're drinking from the fire hose. So, you're not going to get back from training in Atlanta and, be an expert and know everything. There's still going to be some things that you don't know. You're still going to be green. And the key is jump in and realize that, you did this because you've got a goal and you got to start working towards those goals. And you guys did a good job of that. And you've got some really good success to show for it, 4 months or so in. Whereas, if you kind of sit back and wait until you feel like, all right, now I feel like I know everything, so now it makes sense to sign up for that home show and to kind of go in. You guys, have really kind of charged it, and I think, you deserve a lot of credit for that. So that's one piece of advice that I would give to anyone is, whether it's ShelfGenie or any other business, once you make the decision and commit, go all in. And remember that, if you're involved with a good franchise organization, there's going to be good support behind you, but that support's not designed to go out and do it for you, right? That support is for you to leverage as the business owner, but you've got to go out and make it happen. So no, I think that's awesome and really good advice for everyone. This is good stuff. I want to make sure we give everyone on the call a chance to ask some questions, Mike. So I'm gonna unmute everyone here. Try to at least. And if anyone has questions for Mike, if there's anything that he's mentioned that you want him to expand on, or just any other questions in general for Mike, feel free to chime in. I'm going to unmute everyone. I don't think we have so many people on the call that will be talking over each other. If anyone wants to use the chat box, feel free to do that too. But what questions do you guys have for Mike?
Oh, yeah, I have a question. Can you guys hear me? Jason from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question is, how does the selling system work? Is there a system in place, I guess, to help sell the product, or is it more, do you just have a sales background that is kind of helping you become successful in this?
Yeah, well, both. I would think. Certainly having a sales background does not hurt. It does help. But, just understanding how people think and how to connect with people and people skills and that kind of stuff is very important, because you certainly will get people that want to think about it and you're just regardless of product, if you can say, well, if you don't mind, Mrs. Jones or Mr. Jones or whatever, what is it you need to think about? That's always important, because if whatever you need to think about is something I can help you with right now, we can figure out or we can take care of, I'd love to, because we want you to really, we want to do anything we can to help you have this kind of stuff. So if you like people and you like talking to people and you feel comfortable doing that kind of stuff, which I do and my wife does, then that's a plus. But as far as the tools and resources behind you, fantastic. So SketchUp is, like you maybe are familiar with CAD. Well, SketchUp is like a real consumer-friendly version of CAD, I guess. SketchUp has cabinets and pantries and sink vanities and anything you can imagine. It has all of our products. So you actually build a design for people based on what their kitchen or their cabinet or their areas that you're talking about look like. And then you show them, well, here's what I propose. And you can actually have things pull out, our glide outs actually pull out, and you can set stuff in, you can have stuff in them, so it's a 3D rendering system that you're really showing people after you've talked to them and kind of walked around their kitchen. The designer, this is from the designer side, which maybe you, maybe not. I've never done one myself. My wife does them and our designers do them, absolutely. But it's really a visual thing that people get to see that looks like their setup. And so they really get an understanding. And then that's how we deliver the pricing too. Then there are templates available where these designs of what you're going to do to their cabinets are attached to the pricing that's going to be involved. And then, you know, that's kind of where you're headed. But is that what you're asking, or does that help?
Yeah, that helps a lot. I guess just two other questions. I'm not going to monopolize everyone's time, but does the franchisor provide that software to kind of create the visual for the customer? And also, I know you mentioned your average job was $4,500. Like, what are your margins on that? Because I know you said you're using contract labor.
Yeah. So yes, the SketchUp software you do get through ShelfGenie, but it is a third-party software system, so you have to pay your own licensing fee per licensee. And Wes can give you some more info on that and everything. Critical though, extremely important thing. So I don't even remember what it is. We don't worry about it. I don't think it's a big deal. Very important tool. You're not trying to draw stuff on a notepad or graph paper or anything like that.
Yeah.
This is great. This is great stuff. You can turn it into videos. You can turn it into videos. You can turn it into PowerPoint presentations. So many things you can do with that to even get back to the customer later, as well as going through it with them at the time. So our margins, so that's kind of our average deal. We do a lot of deals in that range. We do a lot of I would say, $3,500 to $7,000 deals. We've had our largest deal, but again, we've only been doing this for a little over 4 months. But my wife, Rebecca's largest deal was just shy of $15,000, and so our net margins on those things are, and she tells me they vary depending on the discount or the promo. There's different promos we offer. We're doing all the expos and home shows you can. Fair. We're going to be 10 days in a fair coming up here in about 2 months, the Utah State Fair. We're excited about that, all the foot traffic. When people see this stuff, they, like I said earlier, they love it. Guys and obviously the ladies that spend their time in the kitchen. But what's surprising is the amount of guys who probably don't spend a lot of time in the kitchen. They're more out in the barbecue grill area. They're like, this is amazing. Holy cow. So it's fun. People love it. You're not trying to yank people into your, to your display booth. They come in and you will hear over and over and over, this is my dream kitchen. And all you got to say is, well, we can help you realize your dream. So what are your areas of frustration? What are some questions you have?
So you guys probably, because I know we do when we exhibit at home shows, you'll have like a special offer if they book an appointment with you there at the show. Maybe you do half off installation or something like that. So right. I think the point you were getting at is every job's going to be a little bit different. It depends on what they're buying. We have 3 different product lines, so that's going to impact the pricing and ultimately the margins if there are any. So the margins really kind of vary, and but I think what you say, and you're not a full year in, so sometimes until you get a full year in, it's tough to get a great sense of what the margins would look like. But would you say 30 to 35 is kind of what it seems like you're tracking at right now overall?
We have jobs that range, because again, we're very involved. Rebecca, my wife, we're 50-50 co-owners in this. She's she's doing a lot of designs. Well, that would be 10% of the overall job if another designer was doing that. With some of we do have a couple other designers who are doing jobs as well. But for the jobs that Rebecca's doing, she's doing the majority of them. I would say 80% of them. She wants to stay as busy as she can right now. Again, step back so we can take 2 leaps forward later on, and that'll come in a short period of time. We feel, but so when she goes through our QuickBooks, and she's a great bookkeeper too, so she does those kind of things. We're averaging on her jobs anywhere from 30 to 40, like 42% actually. So I think 35 is a pretty good mid range of where we're averaging. That'll drop, as we pull out, but like we were talking earlier, so you can scale and have more revenue. lower net margin, but much more revenue. So a greater owner benefit in the end, but you're doing less and you can be gone and your business is still operating. That's obviously where we're headed.
Yeah. And I'll just add a couple of disclaimers to that, because of course, like in anything business, any sort of an investment, there's no guarantee. I don't care what the business is, that you're going to hit a certain margin or make any money, that being
Nope.
said. And if anyone does guarantee it, then, that should raise some red flags. So, it's going to be a little bit different for everyone. Your approach is going to, vary and have an impact on that too. So like Mike said, once they do step back a little bit and when Rebecca's running less of their appointments, probably wouldn't expect to be, at that 35 to 40% mark. But again, you're putting yourself in a position to scale. And so, one of the exercises that, I know some people on this call have already done it with me. If you haven't, it's a standard part of the process that every candidate goes through. We have a pro forma exercise that's designed to do just that, and as a system, last year, our average sell was just under $3,500. Our cost of goods as a system averaged about 26% of revenue. And we have some other, system averages that we can provide for financial metrics. And we can take that information and kind of run through what we call a financial pro forma to help you kind of model out and get a sense of what, the economics could look like. Again, it's no guarantee. But what's nice about it too is you can really identify what some of the levers are in this business. So, like if in Mike and Rebecca's business, where they're about $1,000 over the system average for what their average sell is, they're doing great in that particular area. That's driving more revenue and increasing their bottom line in the process. So that pro forma exercise will really help you understand, what are those key levers in this business that as an owner, I should really be focusing on, because if I can improve in these areas of the business, it's going to have a big impact on the financial results that I'm, posting as well. So those are good questions. We've got a minute or two left, and I do want to make sure that if anyone else on the call has questions, they're able to get them in. So anything else for Mike here in the closing minutes? Dang, Mike, look at that. You were just so thorough that there's not even any questions.
I know. It may be, but probably not. But I'd like to throw out there too, though. This, like Wes said, this is not just happening all by itself. We're making sure we're in every home show and every expo. You're loading your kitchen cabinets into U-Hauls. You're out of a store. We have a storage facility. That's really our only overhead. And then, you're buying some hard marketing materials, flyers and folders and that kind of stuff, not a big deal, but so we're loading because again, we're trying to do as much as we can. We have, our installer helps us, so we pay him for this stuff, but we're loading and unloading and setting up and tearing down and loading back in and driving back. Sometimes these shows don't end until 8 o'clock on Sunday night. By the time it ends and you tear down and you load your U-Haul and you wait for everybody else that's trying to load their U-Hauls and their vehicles, and it can be late. So I'm not trying to make this like there's no work involved. There's a lot of work involved, but again, we want to learn our business from the inside out. And these are activities we're going to have totally delegated, I guess, to other people later on. But we're right in the middle of this stuff right now. But we're doing a lot of those, as many of those as we can, and we're heavily involved, as heavily involved in those as we can. We're also doing a lot of marketing. We're advertising in newspapers, Val Packs, home mags. There's a thing out here called Hometown Values. It's like a home mag. We've done some just regular mailings through the Postal Service. They call them EDDM, Every Door Direct Mail. You get a lot of help and ideas on all these kind of things. There's new move-in campaigns. So corporate, kind of gives you a lot of guidance on, here's a new campaign opportunity. We're doing a lot of these kind of things and taking place and have a lot of expenditures going out. But our ROI, our return on investment, is really good. It's lower on some, it's higher on others.
Sure.
But we're staying active. You got to be active. You got to keep your name and your business And we're doing a lot of Facebook. We do Facebook advertising, Facebook post boosting, and you get help with all this if you don't understand it. But we're trying to stay as active as possible. So it's not going to happen all by itself. But if you're active and involved and engaged and busy, it will happen.
Yeah, that's a good point. With a business like this, you've got to come in, prepared to and with ample operating capital to invest, pretty heavily, appropriately in marketing and advertising. And I do think ShelfGenie does a very good job of, putting owners in a position to see pretty accurately what type of an ROI they're getting on their marketing investment. So I think the key is, number one, don't look at marketing as an expense. It's an investment, and it should be generating an ROI. And having a good marketing strategy is the first half of that equation. And we do have a lot of resources and support in place at the home office to help franchise owners figure out, what's the best marketing strategy. But, that's only the first half of the equation, right? You could have the most effective marketing strategy in the world. If you or your designers can't convert the opportunities created through that marketing into actual sales and revenue, then you could still lose money, right? So that's the second half of the equation. But it's a good point that you bring up, and maybe we can close with this because we're a little bit past the top of the hour. But and I don't know if he still does this, but I remember Dave, who's the CEO of 101 Mobility, opens up your Join the Team Day with an analogy, about franchising and it kind of being like a bicycle. Do you think you can do it justice? Can you give the folks all that analogy? Because I think it's perfect.
Yeah, great. Yeah, exactly. Great thought there. Wes, like Wes said, one of the things we talk about at 101 Mobility, really probably any franchise system, any business model type system you're looking at, ShelfGenie builds a fantastic bicycle. If you're looking at it and with this analogy that Wes brought up, ShelfGenie builds a high performance, carbon fiber frame, lightweight, great brake system, gearing system, all that lightweight, fantastic bicycle. But they're going to deliver it to you, and if you don't ride it, it's just going to sit in your garage, right? It's up to us to pedal that bicycle, pedal it like heck sometimes, and go up hills and go through obstacles and all that stuff with that bicycle. It's a fantastic bicycle, but we got to ride it. We got to pedal it hard and harder sometimes than others and that kind of stuff. So, so the tool is there for us. We've got to be the one that really implements and executes on it. And we're still learning. We're learning a lot. We get frustrated. We get tired. We're working our home shows. Some of them start at 9 in the morning and end at 9 at night, and 8 at night on Sundays, and that kind of stuff. We're working these things, my wife and I, right now. So like I said, I'm not trying to disillusion you at all, or as far as it's all roses and stuff. It is. We're happy and we're doing a fantastic job, but it's not happening by itself. We're pedaling like heck on that bicycle sometimes.
Yeah, and you guys are doing a great job. So keep it up, and it's been a lot of fun. And now Kelly and I just have to make sure you guys don't catch us because we do have a little bit of a head start on you. So
right.
You've got us looking over our shoulder a little bit though.
Right. Fun competition too, right?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's part of the benefit of a franchise. Again, you're not out there alone trying to figure this out. You've got a big network around you. You've got best practices that you have access to. Everything's not all peachy. There's certainly things that you wish could be different or improved upon. But the key is you get to a point with all this system of support behind you where you really need less and less of it as you move, but you've still got the whole network that you're a part of all the time. So you can talk to other owners, your installers can talk to other installers, your designers can talk to other designers. You're not alone out there. So that's, again, just part of franchising in general.
Yeah. Great points and great advice, I think. And that's advice that can be applied whether you're looking at ShelfGenie or any other franchise concept. So I think that's good stuff. In closing, Mike, any final words of wisdom for anyone that, is kind of considering business ownership and going through this discovery process?
Like I guess kind of like I was saying, I think this is a fantastic opportunity. We love the product. Our clients absolutely love the product. We just get phenomenal callbacks and reviews and testimonies and that kind of stuff. But again, it doesn't just happen all by itself. There's frustrations, from everything from cancellations to people that are a long ways away that don't do anything. To manufacturing, every now and then an issue pops up. It's business ownership is not like being an employee. An employee, you got your time to work and primarily you're done. Business ownership is, 24/7. But we love that because again, our goal is to get to the point, and we see it coming, where we can be gone, we can be detached as much as possible from the business, and it's continuing to grow. That's the only way you're going to grow your business, really. If you stay really in the nuts and bolts side of it, you're not. But I was going to say, Wes just popped up that other slide. Love to talk to any of you at any time. If you want to have more conversation or you have any questions, shoot me an email or that's best actually, because I am on my phone a lot with my other activities. But shoot me an email and we'll schedule a call. And always willing to talk to you guys.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we could sit here and talk for another hour easily, Mike, but really appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know you literally got off a plane and rushed home to jump on and do this with us. So we appreciate you. I know this was very beneficial to everyone that called in and anyone that will listen in after the fact. So appreciate you, man, and give Rebecca my regards. And to everyone that took time out of their day to call in, we really appreciate it. You should all know how to get in touch with me. So I'm here as a resource, of course. And, as Mike said, his email address is the best way to get in touch with him. Some of you are at the right point in the process to start doing what we call validation calls, which is a one-on-one call with, Mike or any of the other franchise owners that you want to talk to. Others, that's a standard step in the process that you'll get to, at the appropriate point. So, again, thanks to everyone for your time today. Really appreciate it. And I'll look forward to talking with all of you soon.
Hey, thanks, Wes.
Have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you.
Everybody. Yeah. See ya.